Hi guys, it's your host Josh from Recovery Talks 24/7. I just want to thank you to all the followers that have been following my podcast from the beginning to now. We've had some amazing guests that have come on that have shared about their strength and hope through what they've been through, either through their addiction or any form of recovery that they've gone through, even with their mental health as well. I just want to give a big shout out to my sponsor, Money Wellness. They're a great company to help anyone that has been suffering with any form of debt, or if anyone is needing any sort of tips and tricks of how to deal with their finances a little bit better, then please do get in contact with Money Wellness. Personal experience that I've had with them, they've supported me every step of the way to become debt free. So I am a walking testimony in itself. Definitely pick up that phone and give them a call. Without further ado, I've got two amazing guests with me today. A lady called Stephanie and a gentleman called Terry. Stephanie is a worker for CGL, and she is just going to kind of tell us a little bit more information of what she's doing and what they get up to on a day-to-day basis. Also, Terry does work for CGL, but he has got some form of lived experience, which I cannot wait to hear, and I'm sure people that are listening are looking forward to hearing about that as well. So without further ado, Stephanie, how are you keeping?
I'm good, thank you, Josh. Thank you for asking.
Awesome. That's awesome. And thank you guys for coming on today. I really do appreciate it. It really does support people out there and gives them, help. So I'd love to know a bit more about yourself, Stephanie. What's your role and what CGL is about, if that's okay?
Yeah, sure. So I am a Deputy Services Manager for one of our services in Tower Hamlets. We're called Reset Recovery Support Service. And we are provided by CGL, which is Change, Grow, Live. And CGL are probably one of the biggest substance misuse providers across the UK. I think we've got quite a few sites dotted all over the UK. And the primary goal of CGL is to essentially, it does what it says on the tin, it's to support people through their recovery journey, whatever that might be. We're not an abstinence-based service, so if people are looking to reduce or maintain or attempt to kind of control whatever substances they're using, we will work with the individual. And I guess the concept is just to tailor make people's recovery to meet their own individual needs. As you can appreciate, people come from different backgrounds, different experiences, different cultures. So recovery looks different to everybody. And I think the main goal of CGL is to look at how we can support in that personal circumstance. So yeah, I guess that's CGL in a nutshell. In terms of what we do, so each service does operate differently, so it's kind of based on local need. As I mentioned, Reset kind of support the borough of Tower Hamlets in London. And we offer a wide range of different services. So we have something that we call a treatment service, which is where all the clinical intervention will take place. So individuals that might need some medically assisted treatment can come in. We've got a very big team. I think there's just under 90 people on our staffing at the moment.
Okay.
And that comprises of doctors, nurses, non-medical prescribers, frontline workers, volunteers, management team, peer mentors. So there's quite a mix of us in our service. And I guess on a day-to-day function, we look at supporting people through various different methods. So one-to-one intervention, whether that's a clinical intervention or a psychosocial intervention. We've got quite a big group program for people to engage in as well, and that's all evidence-based psychosocial interventions, both structured and unstructured. There's a lot of terminology, so if I need to explain something, do let me know. But essentially, the structured stuff means that it's done on an evidence-based program. There is structured sessions for a number of weeks, and it covers a range of different topics. So that could be anything from relapse prevention, managing cravings, identifying your triggers. And then the unstructured is the kind of holistic approach that we adopt within Reset. So that's things like acupuncture, mindfulness, arts and crafts, well-being events, that kind of unstructured process, which is basically open for everybody and anybody to attend. So on top of the recovery service, we also offer a family service, which comprises of whole family intervention programs like Impact, which is moving parents and children together. It's an amazing program that's rolled out across the UK as well. So if anybody listening has an interest in that, it's definitely worth looking them up.
Yeah.
But we also offer support for people that have been affected by their loved ones' substance misuse issues. And that, again, that's one-to-one work, group work. We offer couples counselling, and we're actually in the process of creating some family therapy options available for people as well. So it's quite an exciting time for the family service. We also have a counselling service. So we're able to offer some short-term therapy for individuals. And that kind of consists of a range of different approaches. We have humanistic, we've got Gestalt, we've got integrative kind of counselling as well, and CBT. So people have an option to kind of engage in whichever approach they think is more suitable for them. We also have housing finance benefit and debt support. So we've got a worker that kind of leads on that area and is there to help individuals with any form of housing issue, eviction issues, finance or debt issues, and benefit issues. And we also do a lot of signposting to the local services within Tower Hamlets to look at how we can kind of further support people once they kind of complete their treatment with us. And finally, we have education training and employment support as well available for people. So that basically comprises of anything from, interviewing skills, CV writing skills, to doing more joint working with job centres, for example, making sure that people kind of get the opportunities they need to access courses. And again, we work alongside another organisation called Bounce Back, which kind of help us with the education training and employment pathway as well. So yeah, that's essentially us in a nutshell. There is, I can go into so much detail about everything that we kind of offer, but we like to try and include as much as possible. And I think in Tower Hamlets, we're quite lucky. We've got quite a lot of services that can help people. So it's all about partnership working alongside other professionals to kind of give as much of a wraparound support for people as possible, including residential treatments. We can send individuals to residential detox, residential rehab, and we can put them forward for an aftercare fund as well to support with additional things like education, training and employment, housing. I think we funded somebody to get a new suit for an interview. So it can literally comprise of anything.
Yeah. That's amazing. Like literally, I could just sit here and just listen to all the things that you're reeling off. It's absolutely phenomenal, Stephanie. What services that are out there that some services I remember when I was going through some my addiction and everything. There's some services that I never knew. So it's great that we're able to get you on here today and just you to share what CGL have to offer. There's so many different group settings that you've got going on there as well, and obviously family support is such a big thing, I believe. Because there's a lot of families that don't know how to cope with somebody that is going through addiction. So it's amazing that you guys offer that support and help. So I'm guessing you're getting a lot of results from all of these things, Stephanie, with the support that you're offering for these people.
Yeah, definitely. As I mentioned, we've got quite a big staffing team. I think we're actually the biggest substance misuse service in London at the moment. So we see a lot of individuals, and what's important to us as a local service is we want to know how we can further help people. Tower Hamlets has got a very big demographic, so it's not like a one size fits all. So we're constantly changing and adapting what it is that we offer. So recently, for an example, we've been doing a lot more community satellites in hostels, in family centres. We've got a very experienced team that come from loads of different backgrounds, loads of different experiences. And it gives us the opportunity to be able to help people that might not necessarily want to engage in substance misuse services. So we try and make it as accessible as possible by going out to them in the community as well. Our team have been great. I think we've CGL took over the contract in 2019. So we're in our 5th year now in Tower Hamlets. And results wise, outcomes wise, we're doing well. We're helping as many people as we possibly can, and obviously the more people we can reach, the better.
Definitely, and I definitely believe in that as well. Even if you just do helping that one person that's come in and wanted that support and help, and I'm sure you guys have got many stories that we can't reel off now, but you've probably got stories of great success for where people have, come in with nothing, or they've been in an absolute mess, and you guys have just been able to support them. And I think it's so powerful that there's people like yourselves that actually do that, because you're definitely making a difference. And you're giving people like myself and others that I know, a chance to second life, as well. We're sorting ourselves out. So in regards to, with CGL itself, so there must be a lot of people that do come in and that don't get it. But where would you kind of point them into a direction if they're not wanting the support with CGL? What would be the sort of next step for them? You would point them to?
That's a good question. Again, I think that's very much on a case by case basis. So as I mentioned, we try to be as flexible as we possibly can.
Yeah,
I think for us, the importance, so for individuals that might not necessarily be ready for treatment or to commit to treatment, it's about how can we further work with them to get them to a point where they are comfortable and less anxious and willing to kind of engage. And for some people, right now isn't the time for them, but it's letting them know that that's okay. And actually,
yeah,
we're always here. So if right now isn't a good time, if there's nothing further that we can do to support, even if it's just like a one-off advice and information session or a one-off harm reduction session, so that we can give them the tools. We offer naloxone, we have needle exchange. Even if it's just like a one-off intervention, the idea or the concept is that there is support available and our door isn't ever closed for them.
yeah,
It's exactly the same as if we have people that start treatment with us and then drop out of treatment. We would never say, you've got to wait 6 months or so before you can come back. If they want to come back the following day, they're absolutely more than welcome, and we would encourage that and we would support that as much as we can. I like to think that we're very service user focused, and we
yeah.
kind of operate based on what our service users want. They're the experts in their own life. We're just there to be that support measure for them to help them achieve whatever it is that they're wanting to achieve.
Yeah, and that's amazing, Stephanie, what you just said. The door's always open because people, again, always have this feeling like, oh, I've messed up. I don't want to, I don't go back and get the support, or they've messed up so many times. And just, you've just said it there beautifully, where the door's always open. I think that's just a powerful thing in itself as well. And I'm sure that anyone's listening that maybe have had support from CGL before, or have had some support from another drop-in centre, and they just feel ashamed to come back. I know what you've just said then. If I was listening to that right now, it would just give me a bit more of a courage to just go in and get that support. So if there's somebody listening now, then Stephanie, that's kind of going, well, how do I, reach out to CJ? How do I, find out where I can get that support with you guys? Where would you kind of point them to?
Quite easy, actually. It's on our website. So we have a national website, which is changegrowlive.org. So anybody, as I mentioned, we've got services across the whole of the UK. So not sure where you're listening from, but I would definitely encourage you to go on to whatever search engine you use. Look us up. On our national website, there is a tool where you can put your postcode in and it will give you the closest Change Grow Live service. And typically, I mean, for Tower Hamlets anyway, we have an online referral portal, and it's just a matter of filling in your basic contact information, a little bit of information around why you kind of need to speak to us and why you kind of need our services. And then what we do is we contact you and we look at arranging a kind of initial assessment so that we can get a better understanding on what your needs are, what is it that you're looking for from us, and how we can further support you. Predominantly, that foundation, that process works across all of the CGL services as far as I'm aware. So that's definitely the best starting point. There's also social media accounts as well. So there are local social media accounts that you can access, and there is the national CGL social media platform that you can access. And that's across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Though it's X now, isn't it? Yeah.
It's X, yeah, it's changed now. Oh, that's amazing. That's really that's even given me a better understanding. You've just put that together beautifully, Stephanie, for myself and obviously for others that are listening. Because I'm sure that somebody might go, do you know what, I need to check that out, or especially with the family service as well. Because I've noticed that's quite a big thing. Even where I'm from, up near the East Midlands, there's a lot of families that are struggling, and it's great that there's people like yourselves at CGL that offer that support, because I think a lot of these families get forgotten about, don't they? And they need that extra support. So I can see you've got a lovely gentleman in the background there with you. You can't really see him. His name is Terry. How you doing?
Very well, thank you for asking. Josh, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Terry, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on today. I was briefly speaking to Stephanie, and she was saying that she was going to bring a guest on with her, and it's yourself. And I do know you've got some lived experience as well, but you also do work for CGL, which is absolutely amazing, which we will get on later on. But Terry, I'd love you to just introduce yourself, maybe share a little bit about your story, your journey, what you've been through.
Okay. So, good afternoon. So I'm Terry, and I'm an addict first and foremost, and I suppose really it all began for me in high school. Wanting to fit in with the crowd, so to speak. So dabbled in smoking a lot of weed, a lot of cannabis when I was at high school. Back then, I didn't see anything wrong with that, because we was all having fun. It was all harmless fun, even though it did take away from the education that I was getting when I was at high school. Didn't do too well, and after that, it was just a case of I would try different drugs, and I would drink every other day. Never really saw too much of a problem with it. If I look back now, I can recognise that it really impacted the relationships that I had with family, friends, loved ones. And as I've got a bit older, it started to impact the work that I used to do as well. I went from being a very reliable person to being a name on a piece of paper because I never showed up as I was growing up. And then for me, it was alcohol that was the big. It's like the precursor to a lot of stuff that I took. And it wasn't until I was in like my early 30s that I started to realise that I had a bit of a problem with substances across the board. I could not be trusted with anything. When my friends or when social occasions would wrap up for the evening, I would always find myself going back home and wanting to continue the party. I would either be the life and soul of a party, or I would be the person that would never get invited to come back again, because I used to get myself into such states that I couldn't look after myself and everyone had to look after me. And that's quite a lot. It's very simple, but that's a large part of my adult life, going from job to job, home to home, not recognising that I had a problem. I suppose really I was at a pre-contemplation stage, I suppose.
Yeah.
Then, and it wasn't until a few years ago that I had a particularly bad spell. And I found myself in a hospital in London in a very, very, very bad way. And it wasn't until a couple of days after that incident that I was given an ultimatum: fix yourself, reach out, get some support, or, my partner, who's my current partner now, she said, we're going to maybe have to go our own separate ways. And I was very fortunate enough that somebody gave me the contact details for this service, for Reset. And when I first reached out to Reset, I didn't realise that the support was quite literally just down the road from where I lived. Completely unaware that this place, this service, and these people existed and were doing what they were doing. So I came through as a client, and I went through the various groups and the program that they had on offer here at the time. Uh, some of it was really impactful for me. That's where the change came from. Some of it wasn't at the time. I found myself feeling really welcomed. I felt like I was part of something when I came here. And I'm extremely lucky, very fortunate, and so grateful because I found myself coming through this service. And then there was an opportunity at the end of that, which I'm sure we'll get to in a moment. And that started off really nice and slow for me with a bit of volunteering, helping out. I felt useful. I felt like I had a bit of a purpose. And it was so nice to be a part of something that's within the community and to be taking from others their experiences and their strengths and their hopes. And, that brought me so much extra resilience myself, and also sharing with others. We was all connected, and it just felt really amazing. And fortunately enough for me, I've managed to maintain my sobriety, my abstinence since then. And here we are today, working as a full-time recovery worker for Reset Recovery.
That's amazing, Terry, man. So how long is it your sobriety been now for?
I should have picked up my 3-year chip. I should have acknowledged. Sorry, I should have acknowledged 3 years a couple of weeks ago. But I've
That
been
is amazing.
working to do it. Thank you so much.
That is amazing, Terry. It's you're a testimony in itself. You've just kind of taken us off on a little brief journey of, I'm sure we could have been speaking for hours about what you've been through, and I'm sure there has been some real madness that has gone on in your life, but to where you are today, you went through this period of time in your life, and from what I hear, you was kind of given an ultimatum, like your partner said. You either sort yourself out or that's it, we're done. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are listening right now that are probably going through that situation right now. They may be sitting in their rooms and listening to this, and they've been given that ultimatum. And your story in itself is maybe just going to give a bit of strength and hope to someone that may be listening. So with this whole journey, Terry, there must have been times where it has been difficult, though. Like, how have you kept your being clean? What have you done for yourself to keep clean today?
So first and foremost, I think that acknowledging to myself every single day that I cannot be trusted around substances or in environments where alcohol or gambling is taking place. For me, that's something that I try to put into practice every single day. So for me, it works to decline invitations to go to particular places. And for me, it works to remind myself of just how far I have come and what I would risk losing if I was to go back out. It's for me, I know that one would, I can't be trusted, like I said. And I've got to the point in my life now where I feel my age, and, it is now or never for me. I have to make this work now. I've been making it work, so I'm going to keep on doing what has been working, because I've never in my life had a career. I've never in my life had a job that I genuinely wake up most mornings and think that, yes, I get to go into work today. I genuinely still get that. When I first started to volunteer for this service, I was so excited. And I still have that today, even though I'm a few years into and I've got a caseload and I'm facilitating groups. For me, it's still exciting, and I get a lot back from what I give.
Definitely. And I think it's such a beautiful thing, isn't it? When you give back, because obviously, as an addict, we're very good at taking so much from everybody.
Yeah.
But then when we've now changed our lives around, we can now give back, and that's what you're doing, which is such a powerful testimony in itself in your story. And I'm sure you're getting a lot of interaction with people, because are you able to share where you've been in your life to encourage others to kind of keep on track with their recovery as well, where you're working at?
So, in some instances, I do. In the beginning, when I was volunteering, a lot of people knew my journey. They knew that I was in some of the groups with them and so forth. So, some of those people that are still here today, they know a lot about my background and where I've come from. The only time I would ever really share something about myself in detail with somebody, with a group, with a client in a one-to-one setting, would be if it would be of benefit for them in that moment to hear it. So I try to keep as much as I can about myself out of it, because ultimately, because we're there for them at that moment in time.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm sure, have you had any sort of support outside of CGL, like family or obviously your partner as well? Have they been quite a big support network for yourself to keep on keeping on track?
Yeah, they have been. First and foremost, my partner. She's been absolutely amazing. Stuck by me through my worst days, and yeah, a couple of friends, and I've got some extended family that I stay in touch with. But it has for me been quite an isolated type of recovery, because I really did rely heavily on the services the service that I was getting from Reset. But I never knew that this way of living existed until I came. I
Yeah,
never knew that living a more productive, enjoyable, happy life existed. I didn't know. And when you come here, it's shown this is what's available, and it's available for you if you want it. It's been amazing.
yeah. That's amazing, Terry. So what advice would you give to someone that's listening right now to our podcast, that may be struggling with addiction or is considering about treatment options, or considering about coming to CGL? What advice would you give that person, Terry?
I would say that you're not alone. There are a lot of great supporting services in this local area for sure, and it's okay to talk about these things, because one thing is, being an addict, is that we very, very, very rarely would be open and honest with others, but definitely not with ourselves. And we're here to help. So if you feel like you would like to inquire or find out more, or just listen, or just talk, definitely reach out for support. 100%. Don't think that you have to go at this alone, because you don't.
Yeah, and that's key, isn't it? It's reaching out and it's talking as well, even if it's just talking, just verbally putting it out there. It really does help, because I could never leave my house, so I could only talk on the phone. But when I used to talk, I just used to feel a little bit lighter. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah, yeah,
I'm sure you can agree as well. Talking's a powerful thing, especially for men, but also it's a problem for women as well. As men and women, we all struggle to talk, because we're in a society nowadays where we just got to keep it to ourselves. But you guys are working for a great organization where you're opening your doors for letting these people to come and share,
yeah.
and get real. So Terry, what are your goals for the future now then, that you're on the road, you're on your recovery journey? Have you sort of any got goals that you want to reach? I've put you on
Um,
the spot.
that is, especially as my service manager, my boss is sitting next to me. I suppose really for now, I want to just keep on doing what I'm doing to the best of my ability, and I want to maintain consistency with reliability. For me, that's a big thing. It's one of my values that I'm always trying my best. I don't get it right all the time. I'm not going to say that I'm the same, but that's something that I want to keep working with. I'm very happy with the position that I've got, and for now, I'm very happy to just continue with this as it is. And when and if opportunities do come up, of course, make an informed decision and consider things for the right reasons, and just keep on giving back, just being there for other people. I think is what I'm going to continue to strive for.
Definitely, and I'm sure Stephanie's looking at you going, "Well done for saying the right thing there."
I hope so.
Do you know what? I just want to say, I mean, I've had the privilege to know Terry as he's kind of come through services, and he's an absolute valued member of our team. He goes above and beyond for everybody, and to be honest, I feel like you're selling yourself short. I feel like there's a lot of potential there that you can achieve, and I hope that in time and when you're ready to, I've got no doubt that Terry's going to smash it. So,
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
That's amazing. And Terry, do you know what? If anyone that's listening, just even looking at you, and you really, you come across really just really peaceful and really humble as well. And just you sharing your story, then it's amazing. It's really touched my heart, and I'm sure there's going to be people out there that's going to be touching as well. And it just goes to show that it's possible. It is possible. No matter what situation you're in, how far deep you're in drugs or alcohol, whatever it may be, that you are showing people that it's possible and they can get somewhere in life. And look where you are today, in your position that you're in and the support that you're giving to others, and being able to look at that. I'm sure it's a reminder as well. Like, I was once there, but look where I am today. So it's an amazing story that you had to share there, Terry. So thank you so much. So Stephanie, is there any sort of, maybe any advice you'd want to give to someone that may be listening that's going through any sort of addiction and considering treatment options? Is there anything that you'd like to give advice to anyone for?
Yeah, I think if you just try, and that doesn't need to be like a huge step. It could just be as simple as filling out the online form, or calling the service up and just asking what's available. It can take people multiple attempts to get to where they want to be, and that there is nothing wrong with that. I'd like to think, obviously I can't speak for everybody that works in substance misuse, but I like to think that people that do work in substance misuse, it's a vocation. It's something that people are passionate about, and through one way or another have some sort of personal attachment to. I know I definitely have my own. So I think the advice would be, just try it. It will be okay. And, you're never short of resources, whether that's support from your family, your friends, whether it's you accessing a service, whether it's just picking up the phone and saying, do you know what, I think I need some help. That in itself is a huge step forward. And I think it's important to try, even if you feel like it's not going to be worth it, or you feel like you're completely alone, or you're really scared, or you're really anxious to do it. Nobody would ever, pick up the other end of the phone and be like, no, don't want to talk to you, see you later. So it's 100% worth a try. And, even if you try once or 100 times, there will come a point where you will go through with that decision, and who knows, it could be the best decision that you actually end up making.
Yeah, definitely. Stephanie, thank you so much for that. Guys, thank you for both coming on today. Being able to share about what CGL is about, and also Terry sharing your personal story, touching briefly on that for us guys, and for everyone that's listening. I'm sure somebody's going to take something from that today. And I just want to say to anyone that's listening as well, if anyone is looking to get some form of support and they do know that there is a local CGL, like Stephanie did explain, that you can go online and have a look on their website, and there is an option there to do a self-referral as well. I definitely would say go for it, guys. It sounds like they are doing an amazing job, and especially with any sort of therapy or any sort of help that you need, check them out. There's no harm trying, like Stephanie said. Even if you have to go around 100 times, their door's always going to be open. And I think that's just such a powerful thing, Stephanie, that you've said today, is that the door's always open. Because a lot of people are so used to being turned away from lots of different, treatment centers or whatever, but your guys' door is always open. So guys, thank you again so much for coming on and sharing. And thank you to all the listeners for today. So yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. Thank you.